y'all, I don't know if this is true, and hopefully nobody sees my stream. And also, if they try and make me disappear, remember, I'm perfectly coherent. I've been saying that, so because we kind of expose stuff on the black pill, and we've kind of said too much already. But yeah, so the rituals for the Church of Satan were designed as psychodramas that encourage members to develop their egos and to leave behind their lives as submissive weaklings. Included in the rituals was a black mass, mass like church mass, complete with a nude female used as an altar.
You need to leave.
Now that's some crazy conspiracy shit. So when we think about a lot of stuff, I'm not saying that they was doing that, but I'm saying this is from the 1960s. Crazy shit. And that's why I try to tell you, I seen in a movie one time, and it was like a cartoon movie. I'm not gonna say what movie it is, but basically, like, we're gonna say what Diddy was doing was one of the rituals they was doing in that movie, right? Not Diddy per se, but I'm saying whatever they was doing was kind of the same thing, except they was in hell. They was in hell, and in hell, that was one of the ways that the devil was feeding off of the human spirit through that kind of shit. Anyways, let me see, blah, blah, blah. Is there anything else? That's basically the main thing. That was the main thing I wanted to tell y'all, but that's just so y'all don't think I'm tripping. But yo, I'm shook, bro. I'm shook. Hopefully that don't mess up my page, bro. That was crazy. That was crazy. That was wild. That was wild. That was mad uncomfortable. Let me put that away. Anyways, let's get back to the main event. Yeah, so I don't know if they was trying to use Cassie as a portal or what, my ninja. But what I do know is, yeah, that was wild, bro. That was wild. I can't believe that happened. Apologies to everybody on the stream. God, please, nobody report me, please. And stream community, whatever, please forgive me. I'm sorry. We got a request now. All right, so let's get into Diddy. Big pause. Yeah, I'm mad uncomfortable, bro. I'm mad uncomfortable. That's how the streamers feel when they accidentally post themselves naked. But I digress from that conversation. All right, so let's see. Let's start here.
Quick update for you guys. Diddy will be spending the 4th of July behind bars because the judge has denied his request for bail. As you guys know, it's been a super busy day today in the newsroom. Diddy was found not guilty on 3 of 5 of the charges. And the 3 charges that he was found not guilty of were the more serious charges. So it's a very big win for Diddy today. However, the judge was not going to release him and said that Diddy needed to stay behind bars before his actual sentencing. So we will not be seeing Diddy partying anytime this weekend.
All right, there's your update. So, and let us know what you think in the comment section. But yeah, he was officially denied bail. We had ninjas losing their mind. Here we go. All right, let's continue. We had his family were all smiles while leaving the courtroom. That was his family. We had an ABC contributor calling Diddy's verdict a slap in the face for victims.
Your thoughts on what this means for the victims?
For the victims, I think this is a slap in the face for the victims. I think this is going to deter victims from coming forward and telling their story and being the voice for the voiceless in the sense of representing other victims that are not willing to come forward. I know that for a fact, I'm sure that the prosecution right now is very upset with this verdict because they definitely put a lot of time into this prosecution, into this investigation. And they also did a lot of comforting of trying to give strength to these women, to Jane and to Cassie, to come forward, to show their face, to share their story. And this is not just like any other regular domestic violence case or just any type of abuse case. You're dealing that they were stepping forward to speak against a music mogul, a person who had the key to New York City, one of the most powerful people in the industry. So just think of how scared they were to come forward and to tell their story, and scared of what could happen once they came forward. Because I'm sure with social media.
My thing is, why didn't they all come forward together? They could have all just came forward together. It would have been all of them against him. It don't matter how much money he got. Too many witnesses and everybody dealt with the same thing. If they came forward as a criminal case, it would have been, you know, but hey, I digress.
And people talking in the news that they have received a lot of threats, and people commenting about who they are and what they've done, and that they are liars. But they, and they alone, know what happened to them. And they had prosecutors that believed in them and believed their story and became their voice.
Your thoughts.
Okay, let's continue. We got this gentleman right here saying Diddy will bounce back from this. I believe this is one of his attorneys. Here we go.
Look, you represented
Yes, it
Casey
is.
Anthony.
It's defense attorney Jose Reyes. Here we go.
You got her off on a murder charge, and she has tried to go forward in her life, but everybody still remembers it. Is that going to be the same with Diddy?
I don't think so. You know, I think Diddy's going to be fine. I think he'll bounce back fine. You know, remember, this is an entertainer who, well, he's not a rapper. He's a rap producer, and he deals in that world where, quite frankly, I don't think it's going to affect him all that much. Now, higher corporate sponsors may shy away from him for a while, but as far as the music business is concerned, I don't think it's going to affect him at all.
Look, I know what you're saying.
Bars. Hey, Diddy, don't take no offense, bro. Throw an Ninja 100 M's. If you want to throw me some money, throw me some money. Help sponsor me. But I must own my masters. Let's continue.
That people in the music world may be like, look, if he can make hits, we'll work with him. But those artists do risk some backlash from the public, who, not everyone in the public, believe me. I mean, we saw the reactions to the verdict. There were certainly people celebrating, but there are people who are pissed off about this.
A lot of what he does is in the background as a producer. So yes, there's going to be somewhat of a hit. However, I do think he'll be able to bounce back and work. I don't think he's going to find himself in a situation where he goes bankrupt because of his inability to find work. I do think he'll be able to recover, not to the extent or not to the extreme of where he was before. But look, I think he's made enough money to last himself for what many people would utilize in 5 lifetimes or 10.
Jose, when we
Bars. Here we go.
interviewed Mark Agnifilo months and months ago, he said to me that, you know, what the prosecution has done in this case is they've taken a successful, as he put it, a successful black man and reduced him to a monster. Those were Agnifilo's words.
I said that before Agnifilo came out and said it, but shout out to Mark Agnifilo. I said that. I've been saying that. The proof is in the pudding. You can go back to when we was first streaming. Last year, we had Diddy, Jay-Z, and the dark side of fame. I said it, man.
So does that stick? I mean, his own lawyers said it before trial, and even during trial, they said what a bad guy he is, essentially. So doesn't that haunt him?
This isn't going to be a full recovery, but I do think he'll be able to recover some semblance of a life. But as we mentioned before, I think this prosecution was a flat out racist prosecution. I think they took a man who was at the top of his game. They brought out ugliness. This is what I like to call...
Didn't I say this? I said all of this. I said that. You guys can go look at my streams. I've been saying this case is biased. It's not fair. And I'm not saying it like I'm defending Diddy. You know, I'm not defending nothing because, hey, I wasn't the one doing it. What I'm saying is you're supposed to be judged in the jury by a court of your peers. So Diddy's peers got to be billionaires. It has to be black billionaires, bro. Not to be racist, but I'm saying, bro, that's literally the only way, bro. That was the only way it was going to be equal. people who can understand the kind of lifestyle he was living, not people who can imagine and maybe potentially glorify or maybe be envious of, you know, the lifestyle. It has to be people that understand, who can afford the same kind of lifestyle and maybe may or not have lived the same kind of lifestyle, not in the exact extremes, right? I'm saying like could afford a yacht, could afford paraphernalia, could afford to put girls on the yacht, have people throwing themselves, women throwing themselves at it. They gotta have the same thing, but whatever.
TV prosecutions. If you notice, if the Cassie video hadn't come out, none of this would be.
I said that. I specifically said, I said if the video never came out, I literally said multiple times, y'all can go back when it first happened. I said, when this came out, I said, if this never came out, we would have never known. And this would have kept on going on. We would have never known. Everybody would have been fine taking their money. And then maybe when the ninja passed away, that ninja was in the casket, right? That's when they was going to talk about it, bro. I promise you, bro. Here we go.
Issue, and he would have never gone to trial. They would have continued on with his lifestyle as he saw fit.
I said
but
it.
Once that video came out, you had a domestic violence case and a very popular individual, and they started sniffing around and they created a case. And that's what this whole circus is all about. We shouldn't allow prosecutors, much less federal prosecutors, construct and build a case from absolute nothing, from whole cloth. It's going to depend on a lot of how he, one, repairs his public image. I do think if he takes a hiatus, that will benefit him, because we live in a 24-hour news cycle.
The hiatus is going to be prison.
Yeah, whatever the sentence turns out to be.
That's certainly a strong possibility as well.
He could just plead. He could plead, but like I said, hiatus, no hiatus. That ninja could be in the back. When you have $1 billion, even hundreds of millions of dollars, you could be in the background scenes and making stupid money. You don't have to be out front. Everybody doesn't need to see you, because you can pay people to go make money for you. So like I said, man, I mean, he's good. He gonna be good. But shout out to this comment right here. W comment. They said Trump got 34 felonies and became the president. Diddy would be fine. Damn. When you put it like that, here we go.
So, but I do think he'll be able to get out and put somewhat of a life together. And if he doesn't, big deal. He's already made enough money for him to be able to retire and enjoy the rest of his life and hopefully newfound freedom if he gets out sooner than later.
Look, you represented Casey Anthony. You got her off.
All right, there you go. Last one, we got Judge Mathis weighing in on it. Here we go.
By now, you know that Sean Diddy Combs has been convicted of interstate transportation of prostitutes, two counts, and has been denied bail. Although I really am concerned about the assaults against the women, particularly disrespecting Black women as such, we must go with what he has been convicted of and respect the jury. And as I had predicted, he should be convicted after hearing and closing arguments of only the 2 counts of interstate transportation of prostitutes. We'll see in the future. Listen to us this next week on the Mathis verdict, as we'll talk about the entire case and the sentencing. The sentencing guideline for a first-time offender is 21 months to 27 months for each count. We'll see whether they're consecutive.
Let's see. So 54 months, right? 54 months divided by 12 is what? 5. It's about 5 years, maybe 4 or 5 years. But like I said, they might let him go. The problem is they trying to make an example out of him, like they always try to do. Here we go.
Whether they're concurrent or if he deviates from that first-time offender assessment or sentence, if you will. Stay tuned. By now.
All right, man. Shout out to Mr. Mathis, Judge Mathis. Right now, the poll says 100% of the poll says Diddy should stay in jail. Past that, shout out to you if you tuned in. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Shout out to everybody that watched the show afterwards. Shout out to you if you tuned in, man. If you tuned in, you are the resistance. You